my name is Gray. I'm the dietitian and health coach with MLK Health Center and Pharmacy, and this is Skylar Williams. She is a part of our MLK team, and she is the one that makes all of these videos look awesome. She does all the editing and adds all the graphics, so we would not have these fabulous videos without her. So we wanted to do a little Q&A here with Skylar to look at diabetes, a topic that we talk about frequently, but look at it from a different point of view. So Skylar, tell me about how or when diabetes first became a part of your life.
So diabetes became a part of my life in high school, actually. My fiance of about 7 years now was diagnosed his junior year of high school. He was 16 years old and he played a bunch of sports. He was our quarterback of our football team. And one day he said his back hurt. And so we're like, okay, it's just a football injury. And then he was like, okay, it really hurts. And so they went to a quick care where they found out that it was not just a football injury, that he actually had diabetes. So his blood sugar ran about 600, so he was in DKA. And so they referred him to an emergency room where they airlifted him to Dallas, the Children's Hospital in Dallas, to get him treated for diabetes. And yeah, that's how it came in. So we were all really shocked. I personally didn't know what diabetes was at that point, and I was like, what's happening? Like, how did this even happen? So we were all shocked, and it was definitely a life-changing event.
Oh my gosh, it sounds so intense. And you said he was only 16, so did he have type 1 or type 2 diabetes?
So he has type 1 diabetes.
So for those that don't know, what is the difference, just in simple terms, between type 1 and type 2 diabetes?
So type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas stops working overall, and so you're going to rely on synthetic insulin through like a pump or a syringe, and those are injections every day. And then type 2 is more managed with like oral medication, and some do rely on insulin. But that's usually diagnosed later in life, and that can be related to diet, exercise, and more behavioral choices. And so type 1 is not preventable, and there's no cure for it. So it's a lifelong chronic disease. It's an autoimmune disease. And so, yeah. Okay. So you definitely seem to be knowledgeable about, I guess, the disease process, but were there other things about diabetes that you learned after your fiance was diagnosed? I learned that it's a whole lifestyle change. You're going to learn how many carbs are in every meal. You're going to learn how expensive medical costs are now. I didn't really have experience in the healthcare system until he was diagnosed. And so now I know how much insulin costs, how much the pumps cost, and how much stress they go through. I mean, it's a life-changing event. Funny story, I remember when he first called me, he was like, I have diabetes. And I was like, okay, Google, what does diabetes? I had to look it up.
Oh my gosh.
And then he was like, yeah, I can't eat carbs. And so the beginning was really scary at first, and you do have a lot of life-changing events. And so I went to Walgreens and I was like, I need to buy sugar-free candy. So I bought all the sugar-free candy in Walgreens, and then I gave it to him. So the beginning is just really scary, and you're adjusting to all the new things, but as time goes on, you're like, okay, I can do this. It seems really strict in the beginning, and then it breaks down. You
sort of adjust to what you need to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So you listed off a lot of things that you would learn, various challenges. Are there a few of those things that you think was maybe most challenging, or something particular that has really been a struggle for you guys, or for you specifically?
I think the most challenging part is as you love them, so you kind of feel helpless. You always want to help them, and then you'll see, since a lot of people don't know the difference or even know what diabetes is, a lot of people don't understand, if you're at a restaurant and you see someone pricking their finger or injecting insulin, or they whip out something that looks like a pager, and people are going to give you weird stares, and you're like, oh, well, they don't know what that is. And so it's kind of hard to, experience that, but you can't be upset because, I didn't know what diabetes was until I experienced it with someone. And also, it's just you have to always be prepared. If you're going on vacation, you're going to the grocery store, he plays a lot of sports, so we always have to be prepared. So that means he likes Skittles to bring his sugar up. So we always have a 3-pound bag of Skittles nearby in case of emergency. And if you're on vacation, you have to have all your supplies with you. So that's a whole separate bag you have to pack to have everything. So it's just something you have to add on. Like if you're going anywhere, you're just like, okay, make sure we have everything. There's been times where we were like in the middle of Walmart and he was like, oh God, I don't feel good. And I was like, okay. So you just crack open a bag of Skittles at the store and I'm like, okay, I'm not stealing, I promise. His sugar's low. There's times where you forget your glucose meter and you have to buy another one at the store and those aren't cheap. So there's just things that you have to adjust to, but we try to just work through them. It's just something you have to do, so.
Gosh, I get anxiety just from normal trips out of town, so I cannot imagine having to add on a medical issue on top of that and having to have all of those things accounted for. So my heart goes out, truly. Okay, so last question. What advice would you have for somebody who just found out that a family member or loved one has diabetes?
So I would say it's okay to be scared and it's okay to cry. I mean, there was times where it was just overwhelming emotionally. I would advise you to keep in mind your mental health and also your loved one's mental health. Diabetes is an everyday struggle and it plays a part in every piece of your life. So it can be really stressful and overwhelming for both parties. But I also advise you to know your barriers. You wouldn't want someone telling you, hey, what's your blood sugar? Hey, should you be eating that? You wouldn't want someone questioning your every decision. So I think taking a step back and letting your loved one manage their diabetes the way they want to is a great piece of advice. I personally need to take that advice. So it's really hard to do that. Also, educating yourself, you're going to learn a lot just by living with them or just by going to their doctor's appointments and listening to their educator. But I advise you to do your own education also. There's a lot of Facebook groups you can join. I'm a part of a lot of them and they've been really helpful. Another piece of advice would be that it's okay to have bad days. This is something you're going to deal with forever and that's okay, and you need to make the best of it. So.
Excellent. Well, Skylar, I appreciate it so much, you being brave and coming onto the other side of the camera here. I think you have a ton of really useful advice, very practical, real-world advice for people who have loved ones that are struggling with diabetes. So I really appreciate you coming to help me out today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do have a family member or loved one with diabetes, we do hope that this was insightful and helpful for you. If you have interest in other videos related to nutrition or wellness, please check out our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.